awesome that in the Star Trek universe, things get worse before they get better. No, it's not as if in the 21st century, things are going to get, like, great. Like, in 1987, they write that in the year 2000, like, everything's rosy. And then the Vulcans came, and then we really got rosy, and then founded Starfleet and all that sort of thing. No, 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 no. 21st century stinks. And, oh, man, like Encounter at Farpoint, when I saw that for the first time, I was too young to understand what was really going on. But watching it nowadays, it's really quite amazing how, you know, the military are on drugs. Everybody are so poor in this futuristic court. And I very much so, I'm wondering what year in the 21st century that would have been. 2013 maybe? I don't know. Maybe in the 2040s, we don't have TV anymore. Yeah, no more TV. The irony, though, is that Star Trek is a TV show, but hey, that's something to be said. It's not commercial fodder, folks, because Star Trek is telling us valid things, and they're saying that TV's even going to go. And thank God. I can't wait till we won't have TV anymore, and we can focus on our own adventures and bettering our own selves instead of watching people do that.
You again seized my vessel.
And that angered you, did it? Seized my vessel, seized my vessel.
You interfered with our Farpoint mission. You threatened to convict us as ignorant savages if, while dealing with a powerful and complex life form, we made the slightest mistake, and when that didn't happen,
the Q became interested in you. Does no one here understand your incredible good fortune? Seized my vessel.
But heck, Star Trek's real, man. I'm flying around in it right now. So as Q was just, continuing his folly, Riker interjects with, "We don't have time for your games, Q." And that sparks a wonderful idea in the mind of Q, a game. So Q just does that with the snap of his fingers. Riker's suggestion creates all the turmoil that everybody's going to go through from here on.
These are the complaints of a closed mind, too accustomed to military privileges. But you, Riker, and I remember you well, what do you make of my offer?
We don't have time for these games.
Games? Did someone say games? And perchance, for interest's sake, a deadly game? To the game.
And so he snaps everybody away, and, Picard is left by himself on the bridge, hilariously, as Q brings everyone down with him to a planet's surface. I personally find it kind of funny how Q just, left Picard by himself up there on the bridge.
Where are we?
Obviously a Class M world. Gravity and oxygen within our limits.
Twin moons. Where are we?
Considering the power demonstrated by Q the last time, anywhere.
So who's on the planet's surface? We've got Riker, Data, Geordi, Worf, and Tasha. And as they beam down there, Q's nowhere in sight. So they're basically contemplating their surroundings. And I'm going to talk about the set in a little bit. And, Riker, as they're sort of talking about, what's Q planning? What's he up to? What are we doing here? Riker says, it won't be boring. If anything, he's imaginative. And I thought that was kind of a nice little description of Q.
Assuming this place even exists.
But it won't be boring. If Q is anything, he's imaginative. Apparently our captain wasn't meant to be here with us.
So Picard, he's stuck on the bridge, man, and the doors and controls, nothing works.
Security, this is the captain. Security? Engineering, this is the bridge. Turbolift control, you read. This is the captain.
So that's all there is to that. And back on the planet, Tasha spots the Q. And Q is dressed in a Napoleonic French Army Marshal's uniform and a tent.
Sir, over there.
Join me, Riker. A good game needs rules and planning.
And the tent is all very nicely decorated with all this militaristic stuff. And Q invites Riker to join him. Riker approaches him and they talk for a little bit. And, Q says a good game needs rules and planning, as Q's going to begin planning his game.
Wasn't it your own Hartley who said, nothing reveals humanity so well as the games it plays?
And an awesome Q line. Just unbelievably great. Nothing reveals I think he's quoting somebody here, but nevertheless, he says, nothing reveals humanity so well as the games it plays. And then here's the real awesome whopper of a line. He says,
Almost right. Actually, you reveal yourselves best in how you play.
and I think that's just an awesome parallel. The human condition being explored in this goofy, zany Q's illusion of creating a game for them all to play. And that metaphor. Awesome. So Riker actually, as Q said all those lines, Riker actually is not, he hasn't sat down with Q yet, and Data recommends to him that, you should listen to what he has to say, and maybe he has some valuable information for us.
Sir, what he has in mind might provide us with vital information.
And I'm thinking, well, gee, what else are you going to do? You're just going to shun the Q and just let him sit there and sip his lemonade? You don't really have anything else to do. But thanks for the suggestion, Data. So Riker sits down with Q, and Q is drinking lemonade. And Riker tries a glass and comments on how he was just wishing to have one.
Incredible. I was just thinking about an old-fashioned lemonade.
And so it became that. An excellent thirst quencher. Gets rather hot out here on this plane.
And, I love how there's, the insects in the background, and, it gets hot on this plane. So Riker, as he enjoys his lemonade, what about my crew? Why doesn't my crew get some lemonade? And I'm sure the crew really appreciated that Riker was making sure that they could have something too.
What about my people?
Whatever they'd like, of course.
So anyway, Q does just that, and he gives everybody some of their own preferences for what they're thirsty for or something. And there's a great little moment, before Worf has his moment, there's a moment with Data, which is kind of odd. Data, is a little curious about what he's got in his glass, and he stares at the thing, and it's sort of this green muck. Looks a little bit like the green smoothie Tony Stark had in the Iron Man. But Data, he's staring at his drink. What was Data's drink? That's my question. That is my lofty question of the hour. And Worf, has his glass. Just another great Michael Dorn awesome moment, season 1 Worf moment. Worf, just dumps his glass or whatever it was on the ground. And Q, Q responds to that and says, "Drink not with thine enemy," an ancient Klingon proverb, or whatever it was. It was very funny.
The rigid Klingon code explains something of why you defeated them.
I think that's definitely a Klingon proverb for you. I think it says in the Bible that we must drink with our enemies, that we must treat them as we would our neighbor.
Romans 12:20. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head.
Thank you, Mary. Since when are you listening in on the show?
What can I say? I'm a multitasker.
All right. And, of course, Q continues, his BS to Riker, speaking of how the Q are interested in the human future.
You're still fascinated with the human past. Perhaps you're not that original.
Au contraire. It's the human future which intrigues us, and should concern you the most. You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are, but change into what? That's the question.
And, how legit is Q, And we'll get into that, but Q prepares Riker to expect a game with rules, rewards, dangers, familiar settings, etc. And, Riker questions the contrast of the Napoleonic guys on the alien planet with, it's got some nice twin moons and stuff.
This isn't part of any human future.
True. I borrowed this from your stodgy captain's mind. This is the dressing for a game that we will play. Now, games require rules and rewards and dangers and familiar settings, that sort of thing.
This isn't that familiar to me. Data.
This is from Europe's Napoleonic era, sir. Late 18th, early 19th centuries. This is a campaign headquarters tent. His uniform is that of a French army marshal.
And a marshal outranks even an admiral.
Well, do you think I would go from a Starfleet admiral